Day before a holiday, I imagine everybody's trying to pump out clients. Oh, I remember those days. All right, where do we want to get started with coaching? This is just kind of open forum, small group, so we can just open ourselves up and get to getting.
I've got a quick question.
Yes, ma'am.
I know it's July. But what would when would you recommend starting holiday planning?
As far as like your Christmas season,
Yeah, and to start like, yeah, how to prep for the holidays in regards to marketing and like how to prepare for that. Or should I not even worry yet?
so I look at quarters and doing, if I'm going to do any sort of like mapping out and quarterly planning. So I would focus on the quarter you're in, which just turned quarter 3. So
Okay.
July, August, September. What promotional stuff do you want to do for quarter 3? Then look into quarter 4. Because with you guys, is the smallness of your businesses and how local you guys are, you don't like holiday marketing. People aren't thinking about holiday marketing. There's to me, it's just like spending more time doing something that's 6 months away, as opposed to something that we could actually start to take advantage of and cash flow now.
Yeah, I'm learning through working with you that I'm too far of a future thinker.
Yeah, there's probably some avoidance of the present that we're working on with that.
I'll do better. I'll get on top of
I
it.
just you created the awareness. I mean, that was my first instinct is why focus on holidays? Like if you're
I mean,
Target, you have to have all of the photo shoots probably last quarter so that the content can be created so that the rollout plan can happen. As they start marketing it like early October, they've got to get all of their stuff in stores and all the signage and display. So they have like their holiday planning is probably throughout the year.
okay,
You're not a multi-billion-dollar company. You don't have to do that much strategy
right.
and you. So
Okay.
tell me why that came up for you, why the holiday planning part came up for you.
Um, because I've always operated like 6 months, and your statement about just looking at a quarter definitely gave me better perspective. I do want to start with that, but I've always been like 6 months ahead, 6 months ahead. Always like had to think that way, or not always had to, but that's how I've operated. So I just literally we're July 2nd. I woke up yesterday thinking like, should I start thinking about holiday? And a lot of that is associated with, as you know, and I am onboarding my first team member next week. So it's like I kind of trying to operate a little smoother. I don't know what to anticipate in regards to time availability. If I'm going to train a new hire. So
Yeah. So tell me what the end result of you starting to plan holidays now was going to get you in your logic.
so that when we get there, it's a lot smoother and not chaotic.
Okay. So how do we define smooth versus chaotic?
I'm the kind of person that has planned, and then when the time comes, it just executes.
Right.
And I'm
So
not saying that's a good thing. I'm just
no. I'm trying to understand, like, what does holiday planning now have to do with smooth versus chaotic? Like, what is the end result that you're looking for when we're trying to control that far out?
yeah, I think as I mentioned a little while ago, having a new hire onboarding, my first one, and there's a lot of unknowns regards to like timing and stuff. Like I want to be able to do right by my new hire.
So what does doing right by your new hire mean?
Being available for her, not I don't want to flake out on something. I want to make sure that I can you know make sure that the majority of things that need to be done and want to be done are done.
Okay. So I want you to notice, here's 3 words that came up for me. I don't want to flake on her. I want to be available for her. And I want to make sure that things that need to get done get done. The reason why you don't have clarity is because all of that is vague. What is flaking on her? What is the belief you have or the vision you have that's flaking on her? What is being available to her? Like, you're not specific in these. And so they're just looping, and it's like a fear of, I don't want to do this, but we don't actually know what it is.
Right.
Trying to avoid. When you can get it to like, I don't want to flake on her, meaning I want to make sure that I'm available for the 3 hours we have on Monday to fully train her, and I'm training her that day or whatever. That gives you context of like, did I do it or did I not? When we have
Right.
vague things like, I want to make sure that I'm prepared for the holidays. What does that even mean? The goal of holiday preparation and marketing is to make sure that we can have enough marketing to drive sales. How much in sales? You don't actually know that right now because you don't have a team member. She may be fully booked by then. So you may not even
Right.
have to do all that much holiday marketing because you don't have the demand, or you don't have the space or the availability for it.
Right.
So I want you to get in the habit of, when we have these I think it's a great idea to be prepared. Don't get me wrong. Like, I think having a plan and like executing a plan and doing all that stuff, not reinventing the wheel, like, look what you did last year and just do the same thing and maybe do it a little better or test one thing out. But there's so much of the unknown of what this is going to look like. For me, I would love your attention in making sure her onboarding is great, making sure
Okay.
that you have time dedicated to training her how you want to do it, that you're working and developing your skill set to be somebody who can train a team member and onboard her. That's where your time and energy is best spent right now, in my ever so humble opinion.
Okay. I mean,
Not worrying about marketing 6 months from now because we don't know the level of demand that we'll need,
mhm.
right?
Okay.
Good, sweet. Glad we cleared that up.
Thanks.
Happy to. All right, who's my next victim? Georgette, good to see you, girl. You guys just go ahead and unmute yourself. Hi, how are you?
Reaction because I'm unmuting. Doing good. If no one else was in the queue,
Go for it. Go for it.
So I, in our last conversation, we talked about leasing my space out when I go on maternity leave, and I'm very excited for that. So I was just wondering if there's any like resources I can look at as far as making a like rental contract, and then also places to advertise rentals.
Yep. So either an attorney, contract attorney in your area. You can look at LegalZoom, although just depends on how much money we're talking about here. You know, when we're talking about templates and LegalZoom and that kind of stuff, if it's not legal or somebody flakes, is it really enforceable? I think you and I specifically, well, yeah, you have to look at like how much you're going to charge, and if it's a 6-month lease, if that's let's say it's $4,000, right? That's like the total value of the contract. We can do a LegalZoom template for like, I don't know, $70 or whatever the membership is for that month. But if she flakes, wouldn't have been better to like invest the $200 or $300 in an attorney to draft a contract that's enforceable, as opposed to a $70 thing, because there's so much money at stake. So just something to weigh with that. You can always talk to your landlord too, to see if they have a sublease agreement. But yeah, usually a contract attorney of some kind can do that for you. And then what was the other question?
Just like places to advertise, outside of like Facebook, I'm, in like a few Facebook groups I know to post like there, but I was just wondering if there's any other like resources people knew.
Yeah. So, I mean, I would definitely post in the group as well to get, we have a lot of people who sublet out space and you can get their ideas, but like Craigslist, the Facebook groups of industry professionals, you can talk to beauty schools. Sometimes they have almost like job posting boards.
Oh, that's a good idea.
What do you call it? Like the professional supply stores. I'm totally blanking on their name, like Cosmoprof.
Like, Salon Centric and
Yep. So just think about like, where would somebody who's looking for a space go? And then word of mouth too. So, just putting the word out there with any of your industry friends and be like, hey, if you know anybody who's looking for a space, you can look at where like the Sola Suites advertise, but they have a little bit more larger of a marketing budget. So they're probably running ads and that kind of stuff. But
yeah, and actually, I guess like good and bad, like they used to have that in my city, but because there was just like a high demand for apartment developers, they lost that space. And so they're no longer in my city, which is like, okay, great. People need a space to go. But because of that, like they're not advertising anywhere. So like,
awesome.
They're not in
yeah. I know for me in San Diego, Craigslist was a place that you could find professional like room rental type stuff, commercial leasing spaces. But I think between some of the industry stuff, probably the Facebook groups is going to be your best lead source. And then word of mouth in the beauty schools is kind of where I'd start.
Okay, cool. And I'll ask in the group too, in case
Yep.
anyone else has.
Yep. Sweet. Any other questions?
Yep, that was all.
Awesome. Love it. Yes, Angela, what's up, girl?
Hi. Hi. I know. I'm so excited to get to talk with you. So I am so overwhelmed. Violet, be quiet.
Violet.
Violet. No, nobody's up here. Shh. I have so many things going on and everything seems to be priority A.
Okay.
Okay. Let me just give you a couple of things. Okay. Yelp, I have it, paid for it. Nothing's on it. Don't know what I'm doing. Okay.
Okay.
Google my business. They suspended my account. Don't know why. And trying to figure that out is maddening. And I don't even know where to start. And I know that those are two pretty important things to get my business going. So I think that those are like an A++ in my list of priorities.
Okay. What else?
I'm going to be doing face reality. So I have to do that training. I got a new machine, so I have to do that training. I'm in the Lashpreneur Society and I'm still working on that training. The last training I did was my website and I was like, oh dear Lord, it took me like 5 months to get my stupid website. And then after I do the training, I was like, okay, well, my website sucks. So I need to reevaluate that. And then, as I told you when I first started, I'm working for a franchise that is sucking my energy and my soul.
Okay.
I think that's like, oh,
Cool.
my EIN, I have an EIN and I changed my business name. So then I had to write a letter to IRS to change the business name. So my whole, it's not my business license. It's some other license that's tied to that, that I can't even complete.
Okay.
Until I get that updated.
Okay.
Okay. So those are like, I think the most pressing, even though I have 3 pages of to-dos.
Okay. So, what is the primary fear or belief that is driving the feeling of overwhelm?
That when I start something, I can't finish it. So nothing is completed. Okay. Like I had the Google My Business, and before I got a suite, I was just in my house. So I had the address as my house. And then I tried to change the address over, and that's kind of when it got suspended. So that's not completed.
Okay. So let's start with this belief. When I start something, I can't finish it. Is that a true statement all the time or just some of the time?
Well, I'm sure it's not all the time. I mean, it's just, I guess it's just how I'm feeling at the moment with several things not completed.
Oh, for sure. And here's the thing, and I'm just going to go as if you've never heard me speak before. Your brain is trained to keep you alive. That's its sole purpose. And so when we have something like anxiety, which seems to be kind of the underlying theme here of urgency, panic, I have to get this done, the control, our brain will identify external evidence to match our beliefs. So when you have this default belief in there, when I start something, I can't finish it, all of a sudden we can come up with a pretty good laundry list of things that you can't finish. Now, is that true that you can't finish any one of these things?
That is not true.
Okay, so already we're poking holes in the belief that the belief is not true. Yet it's what's driving the bus of the feeling. Is that making sense so far?
Yes.
Okay. So logistically, when it comes to strategy and the business side of things, we have a whole lot of how-tos here and a whole lot of step-by-steps, but what ultimately is the goal that we're trying to achieve at this point in time?
Get clients.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Have a goal. Get clients. How many?
Oh, that is a good question.
Glad I
You know
asked.
what? Like, honestly, I would like 10 new clients a month.
Beautiful. I love the specificity. 10 new clients a month. All right. Have we had any new clients in July so far?
Yes, I'm going to consider one. Yes.
Cool. So we're 1 down, 9 to go. All right. So we've got, I mean, we're still at the beginning of the month, so we got a lot of time. So if we average 3 new clients a week, we'll actually be ahead of our goal. So now we have like a micro goal of 3 new clients a week. Okay. So that makes it a little more bite-sized. What can we be doing? It's Monday and it's a holiday, but what can we be doing this week to try and generate 3 new clients? Do you have a specific service you want these clients for?
Well, honestly, I would love them for microneedling because that's my highest dollar services.
Okay. And what kind of marketing have we done in the past for microneedling? Anything?
Pretty much not.
Okay. So it would make sense that we don't have a whole lot of clients for that because we haven't marketed it. Is there another service that you do have marketing in the past that somewhat worked?
Lashes.
Okay. So we've also got the option of lashes. So we could give even more specific of we want 10 new lash clients or 10 new microneedling clients, right? Or if
Right.
is it really more of a financial goal we want to reach?
Yeah, I guess that's kind of what's driving me because I do have a financial goal before I move forward with cutting hours of my other place.
Beautiful. Love. There's a strong why there. Okay.
Yeah.
So what is the financial goal? Just give me what the financial goal is. And if we need to break it down a little bit more, we can.
Okay. 5,000 a month.
Okay. And is that in business sales or in personal income?
So that is in service sales that includes retail and tips.
Okay. So not what you're paying yourself to take home, but what the business does in sales.
Okay, I'm going to tell you something here, and you're going to probably shit little blue Twinkies when I tell you this. Okay.
I've heard worse, I'm sure.
I have been an esthetician for 15 years.
Mhm.
And during that time, whenever I have run my own thing on the side and, I work for someone else, I have never paid myself.
Okay. I've heard worse.
Okay.
I have people who didn't know they're running 7-figure businesses and didn't know they were running 7-figure businesses. And the first thing they come to me with is, I want to pay myself.
Okay. I
When
don't
you,
feel so
when
bad.
you do $1.2 million in sales, but it's cost you 1.5,
Ooh.
that's a problem. But they're doing 1.2. They're doing a 7-figure business, right?
Mhm.
So let me ask you this: you want to leave your franchise job?
Yes.
And I'm assuming the thing that's stopping you from doing that is the ability to earn income to survive and maybe even have a good lifestyle. Is that fair?
Right. Yes.
Okay. So is the behavior of not paying yourself helping you get closer to that goal or further away?
Well, it's
Don't overcomplicate it.
right.
Sure.
It's not helping.
Correct. I would say that behavior of not paying yourself is getting you further away from the goal that you want.
Okay.
Tell me if I'm wrong.
Okay. Because I'm not like feeling it. I'm not like in the business. I'm just like stockpiling the money that's in my business account. I'm not touching it.
You could be paying yourself, but you were just not.
Right.
Okay. There are several people in here I know who have those same behaviors.
Okay.
It is becoming more and more common. It's like, I could pay myself, but what if?
Right.
And
What
maybe
if?
some
Yes.
of this is a little bit of PTSD from the pandemic. Like,
Mhm.
I don't want to discredit that there was a very scary out of control moment we had where all of a sudden our ability to work was removed from us. However, I want every single one of you to look at where your power is in your decision making. Okay. Even with the pandemic, with government shutdowns, you still had the option to work. You did. You could have taken clients at your house. You could have snuck under the table. I know Claudia did in California, no less. Susie, you're not the only one in here. There's actually 2 other people too I've had those conversations with. So you guys
Okay.
are in good company where it's like, I'm just going to keep money aside, but getting in the discipline of paying yourself. It's not the destination.
Right.
Right? And there's a much larger conversation around money to be had here. And I understand wanting to have money set aside for a rainy day. That is responsible. Not at the detriment of you being able, I mean, you told me in your own words, soul sucking. You have money, it sounds like, to get your soul back. So tell me the underlying belief around hoarding the money, but trading your soul when you have a solution in your bank account right now.
Just fear
Yeah, what are you afraid is going to happen?
that all my clients are going to call each other on the same day and say, let's not make appointments with Angela anymore.
Okay. No, I believe you.
Yeah.
How likely is that on a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being like definitely going to happen, 1 being never going to happen, and somewhere in between?
Probably a -4.
Okay. Right. Isn't it amazing when we can start to verbalize this fear that drives the bus and we start to put language to it? It is the process of getting a belief out into reality. And then you hear yourself say it and you're like, well, that's kind of weird.
Well,
But it's
I was
what's driving the bus. It is what is making the decisions in your business.
yeah.
And so it makes sense that we keep doing all of these things that keep spending the money, thinking that's what's going to get us our soul back. But you already have the solution. You're just not moving forward with it because you're afraid. And look, there's no shame there. And there's probably much more in-depth trying to avoid and control things. Here's what I want you guys to understand. You control nothing outside of you. Your clients very well could all call each other and go away. Worst case scenario, let's say that happens. What would you do if that happened?
Well, I'd still be trying to get clients.
Right? You could do marketing. You could go
Mhm.
back to the soul sucking job. You could go get another job. You could go, I mean, there's a million different things you could do. You're not just going to like keel over and die.
Right.
So is it really something to be that so afraid of if that worst case scenario happens?
Okay.
You could start a business over and do it better, faster, easier, and then you wouldn't even have like 3 of these problems on here.
Okay.
Okay. So none of that to shame you, but to acknowledge that the fear that's driving the bus, we can identify the fact that it's a scary feeling to bet on yourself. Because I'm going with my intuition here, and you can tell me if I'm way wrong, but my thinking just based on this is that there's a part of you that doesn't believe that you can do it, or that's afraid to rely on yourself because you have the safety net of the soul sucking job.
Oh, yeah, it's like a constant dialogue inside my head. Like some days I'm like, I am smart, I'm an amazing, I'm a freaking badass, you know, I am. And then the next day I'm like, oh my God, who are you kidding? Why are you thinking that? You don't know what you're talking about.
It's normal.
Oh, I'm human.
I go through it too. Still, right? I have plenty of evidence that I can help people and grow their businesses and all that stuff. And I still have days where I'm like, why the fuck are people paying me? And then like at our retreat, oh, Susie, you missed this conversation. We had a really beautiful moment at the end where one of the mastermind members asked me, she's like, why do you keep doing this? Why do you pour so much time and energy into creating these programs in this space? And it was like a really beautiful conversation to have of like the why behind it. Because when we can remove all of the logistics, the strategies, the money, the followers, all of that kind of stuff, and really get to the core of why you're doing something, you tell me, why is it that you want to have a beauty service business?
Oh, I like the time freedom. I've seen how it is working for someone else,
Okay.
and I have to take 8 clients in a day. I have to upgrade everything to make the dollar amount that I can make in 4 clients and feel like I have more control. I choose my products.
Let's talk about the time freedom. Why is time freedom important to you?
I'm a single mom. I
Preach.
have a special needs daughter.
Preach. So you getting more time back means what to you?
More time with them.
And what does that mean for them?
Having your mom available is powerful, is helpful for them to navigate life. You know, they're teenagers.
Yeah. And
You-
there's no
you-
replacing you there.
yeah.
So when we kind of put all of these overwhelm, stress, money, all of that in perspective of really what you're trying to create, that you can buy your time back, kind of pares down that to-do list a little bit. The only thing that matters is what's going to get you more time back. And we can create a plan on what's going to get you the most amount of time, because that is the highest value, it seems like, for you. So that is the goal, that we then work action steps. Now, some of this stuff is logistically, like if you want to have your own business, we're going to have an EIN and all that kind of stuff. But really, we prioritize the things that are going to get you your time back. A lot of that has to do with the financial component of it, because that is where you can get some time back. You basically buy your time back. Whether it's you're outsourcing house cleaning so you can take your kids to the park. Well, they're a little old for the park, but you know what I mean.
Right.
Or you're making enough money in as little amount of time so that you have more time and bandwidth to be around when they get home from school, or, hang out with them on the weekends or whatever. So when we look at it through the lens of what is going to get me the most amount of time, we probably are looking at money. So what financial amount do you need to pay yourself each month for you to have time flexibility, or to be able to have your own schedule?
I haven't figured out that yet.
That's the number to solve for. That's the problem to solve for.
Okay.
So the easiest way to do it is probably what would replace your franchise job income. So how much would that be?
I think I make like 6,000 a month there.
Okay. So to me, you tell me, is that the thing that's going to get you the most time freedom when you can leave that job?
Yes.
Okay. Because then your
Well,
schedule.
well, as of now, where I'm at in my business.
Right. So what you need to be mindful of is that you're not adding. So when it comes to crafting your schedule, once you're out of that other job, you need to be mindful that it is your schedule for your life. So if you don't want to work weekends, don't offer weekend availability. If you don't want to work nights, don't build a clientele who works 9 to 5. Right. I think oftentimes people forget, and they're so used to approaching their business as an employee, like, I've got to work whenever clients are available. No. You create your schedule, then you go find the clients that want to work for that schedule. Same thing when you're building out a team. If you need help during Monday through Friday during the day, then you go find the team member that will work that. Or if you can only afford $15 an hour, then you go find the team member that can work for $15 an hour. Not, I have a great team member who will work for 50% commission, but I can't afford it. Right. So you get to be intentional about, the most important thing to me is that I don't work more than da, 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 da. And you set those boundaries for yourself and you create your business around it. For me, a lot of my son was 9 months old when I had my business. I refused to work I didn't take appointments after 3 p.m. So my last appointment ended about 4:30, so that I could be home for dinner, bath time, bedtime, all that stuff. And I didn't work weekends. Those were my boundaries. I could build clientele all before all of those hours, but that was my boundary. And that meant saying no a lot. Clients wanted to come in the evenings. No, sorry. Even during the holidays, I still had that schedule. The demand was there, because here's the cool thing. Do you know the difference between being fully booked 2 days a week and fully booked 5 days a week? You need a lot less clients at 2 days a week being fully booked. If you're only available 2 days a week, 8 clients a week would probably do it for you. So then if you have more demand than that, well, demand dictates price. So now you can start charging more instead of adding more hours. So you can actually increase how much you're making per hour by creating that demand and having a shorter schedule. The opposite usually happens in our industry, where it's like, I'll add more hours to the day and more days to the week because I have demand, because I don't want to turn anybody away, because I'm a people pleaser and I'm codependent on somebody else liking me for me to feel good about myself, as opposed to, I want to work less and make more. Because there might be shame associated with that. I might be greedy if I did that. It's business and it's your life. Time is a high value to you. Okay. So this sounds like it's probably your goal to start to work your business in so you can pay yourself that. Does that make
Okay.
sense?
Okay.
Now with your business, it may be there usually comes when you're working, like, are you working full time at this other job?
I was 32 hours a week.
Okay.
And I'm getting ready to cut down to 20.
Okay, good. So you have the option to kind of titrate down. That's generally what I recommend. And because it's going to come this tension point where you don't have much more availability unless you leave the other job. So it's going to be kind of this leap before the net appears kind of a thing. You have to create more availability to get more sales. What are you currently doing in your business right now in sales a month?
Last month was my best month at, yeah, at 4,600.
Oh, beautiful.
Mhm.
Love it. Okay. So we don't have that much further to go. What are your monthly expenses for your business, give or take?
My rent is awesome. It's 535.
Chef's kiss.
Yes. And I'm working on compiling my expenses.
So that's another number to solve for because we don't
Yes.
actually know how much we need to do in sales when we don't know all the factors at play. So let's just make up a number. Let's say $2,000 a month in expenses. Okay. Okay. So when we combine that you need to pay yourself 6,000 and it costs you 2,000 to run, how much in sales do you need to do for your business each month?
4,000?
Nope. 6 plus 2.
Oh, 8,000.
Yep. Okay. You're over halfway there already.
Okay.
Okay. And you're also working this other job. So at some point we're going to have a little bit of a time.
Oh yeah, I'm working 7 days a week.
Right. Right. So you're going to pull back on hours. If you can keep pulling back, you might create little milestones. Like once I've done, maybe when I've hit 5,500 in the business, I'll pull back another 5 hours a week. And you kind of keep doing that, knowing that you're in a transitionary phase and it's temporary. Right. I don't recommend working 7 days a week ever. Right. It's getting against what you want time wise. So if that's the case, if you can't get to that $8,000 a month goal in sales for you to be able to pay yourself 6,000 a month, you might, for a very short period of time, look at, can I lower my monthly expenses personally so that I can get my time back?
Okay.
Right. I only need 4,000 to be okay. Everything's covered. We're doing all right. Knowing that there's more potential when you can go full time into the business, maybe that's the time frame that you can then leave your franchise job and get your soul back. Because here's the thing, at least as far as my experience, when I was going through the divorce, I didn't need as big of a house and a fancy of a house. I actually, because I moved from California where I had a 4,000 square foot house to a 2,200 square foot house in Tennessee. It was because I had to have the biggest, bestest thing because I was miserable otherwise. And I was emotionally spending. When you take that pain of the emotion, you don't tend to need as much stuff. And you don't need to I need to buy all these trips and all these things to fill inside, because if we work on that internal stuff first, then we don't need as much of that external stuff because we feel good inside whether we have it or not. It's that internal game. But oftentimes when we're miserable and we're suffering and we're feeling depleted or we're feeling like it's not worth it and all this kind of stuff, and we're sad that we don't get to spend time with our kids and I can't finish things, like that's a lot of anxiety that we're trying to quell with external stuff. Me, that was also food, right? I've lost 40 pounds since my divorce. Why? Because I was emotionally eating. I was trying to counteract the tension in my stomach from anxiety because I was in a toxic situation with food. Because when I overate, I expanded my stomach enough to get a little bit of relief and temporary relief from anxiety. I also drank champagne. You guys are getting a whole deep dive on me. It was all of these coping mechanisms, and I'm sure that they're pretty relatable, right? That we fill our life with stuff because internally we're not happy. More stuff out here does not mean more happiness out here. More money does not mean more happiness in here. You can see evidence of that with celebrities that have major drug problems, wealthy people who commit suicide. It is the internal work that creates the happiness and fulfillment that we're all seeking and trained to seek externally. Because when we're internally happy, then all of this stuff just becomes a game. How much more can I make? How much more income can I get or impact can I make? How much more time can I spend with my kids and not have to work? Make it a game, because your internal state doesn't change regardless of what happens outside of you. Right. So all of that to say, most of these are probably, they're not that urgent. Right? It's like, you want to do $8,000 a goal in a month. Okay, let's see if we can't, you already had, let's see, 10 new clients in a month. I say play with that. What activities do you need to do in your business to get 10 new clients in a month? If you could just brain dump ideas, what might be 1 or 2 ideas of that could get 10 new clients in a month?
Well, consistency with social media posting.
Okay, do you tend to get clients off of social media?
I have, and it's funny, I get more off Facebook than I do Instagram.
All right, so I wouldn't even say social media, I'd say Facebook. Have you ever gotten 10 new clients in a month in the history of your business?
So before I moved here to Arizona, and I've been here for 3 years, so I've like restarted our whole life. But in Colorado, I built my career for 12 years. And yeah, I was at the point where I could not post on social media because I would get 4 new appointments and I didn't have any place to put them.
Okay. So
I
what
want
was
to be back there.
the marketing?
Sorry, say that again.
What was driving, what marketing were the clients coming in from?
Just Facebook, and it wasn't even good marketing.
Well, let's challenge that belief. It was good marketing. It worked. It didn't look like everybody else's marketing, sure, but did it
Right?
work?
I guess so.
Okay, so Facebook, what specifically with Facebook marketing?
I was just posting pictures of my work. Things that I did.
Okay. Is
In
this
my
on your
business.
personal page or a business page?
It was a business page.
Okay, cool. So, has that been working for your business since you moved?
It has some, not quite as much, but
Well, let's have a
yes.
theory. Let's test a theory. How many times a week do you think would test a theory to see if you get more clients off of Facebook?
I mean, at least a post a day.
Okay, so you think 7 days a week, or do you think you could get away with less?
I mean, I could probably get away with less, but I mean, my goal right now is to do at least 1 post every day, a post, a story, a reel, whatever, do something.
Sure. Okay. You want to give yourself a challenge? Be my guest. So we're going to test for the month of July, 1 content piece a day on Facebook. Okay. We're testing a theory. We're not placing any meaning. We're detached from the end result. You have a theory, and this is all marketing is. I have a theory. If I post once a day on Facebook in some capacity, that I'll get more clients. So at the end of the month, make a little note for yourself to review how many new clients came from Facebook. If the answer is 0, well, then your theory proved to be untrue.
Okay.
Right. So we don't have to go do that again. If you got 3 clients off of it, cool. When I post 7 days a week, I got 3 clients. We could then test another theory. If I post twice a day, does that get double the clients? Maybe, probably not. If I post 3 times a day or 3 times a week, do I get the same amount of clients? Like, we're just going to test a theory. But because we want to see what works. It's not always adding new things, reinventing the wheel. I've got to be on TikTok. I've got to be on YouTube. I've got to be on Instagram. It's like, success leaves clues. So look at what's already working in your business and just do more of it, but do it better and do it more intentionally. So you said you're already paying for Yelp. Is that correct?
Yes.
And is that, I'm assuming that's a contract that you're locked into of some kind, or can you
Couldn't
cancel?
even tell you.
Okay. How did you get started with it?
I talked to someone on the phone.
Okay. And you agreed to something that you weren't clear on the terms?
Yeah, and that's the thing is I just can't, when I do things like this, so many things going on, I just can't remember.
Right. Oh, well, yeah, that would make sense. So all the more reason not to make decisions when you're emotionally strapped or taxed or not making great strategic decisions, because it creates more chaos.
Right.
Right?
I mean,
I'm the same boat.
since I've done Yelp, I got like 3 clients from it,
Cool.
like pretty fast. But since then I've decided I don't want to do lash lifts anymore.
And it's a lash lift promotion.
It's not anymore. And I got some lash clients too, but
And how much are you paying a month in that?
108.
Okay. So determine if you can cancel it or if you're locked into a contract. Okay. If you can cancel, you get $108 back a month. You can add that to your profitability. So that goes to your little pay stub here.
So do you think that Yelp is not a good marketing tool?
Was it working for your business prior to you paying for advertising?
No.
Okay.
I mean, I
So-
have a Yelp, but I wasn't paying for anything and it didn't get me any clients until I was paying for advertising.
Right, but then it got you the wrong clients. Is that correct?
Yeah.
I'm weighing this against time freedom.
Okay.
So while Yelp may work for your business, it's going to require time for you to go in and figure that out and determine like the strategy and have a consistent posting and asking for reviews, most likely. I'm not saying you have to get rid of it, but it's $108 a month and it doesn't seem to be the primary way that you can get clients the easiest. And it's probably going to cost you time as well. So it's costing you time and money.
Okay.
Okay. If you've gotten into, let's say you went through the website training, so your understanding of the marketing funnel,
Yes.
right? So
Yes.
when you have paid ads, so Yelp would be an awareness level strategy at the top, right? With the paid ads, but Yelp itself is an interest level. It's where the relationship is built. It's where reviews happen. So if you're not consistently asking clients for reviews and using that as a review source, and you're driving new clients coming in from the review source, then paying more money to it is just pouring more water into a leaky bucket.
Well, and I got like 7 reviews, like pretty quick from clients, and then Yelp took them all off.
Right. So Yelp really it's a numbers game. Everybody wants to get their panties in a knot about hiding reviews and all that stuff. It's a numbers game. They are a for-profit company. They're going to do it their way, but you can use it to your advantage. Some cities, they don't even have Yelp. Like Yelp is not a strong thing here in my city. In San Diego, it's like, we don't want to talk to each other. So we'll go online and look up reviews. Google My Business might be a better review source, but again, your account is suspended. So that's not driving traffic currently. Do you have any sort of word of mouth or referral program? Do you tend to get clients referring their friends, that kind of stuff?
I've had a couple. Yes. I don't have anything officially.
Okay.
I used
So-
to years ago.
How much time would it take for you to talk with each client at the end of their appointment and handing them a business card, say, hey, if you have any friends who want to come in the month of July, I'm offering 20% off micro needling or full sets.
Okay. I could definitely do that.
Okay. So when we're weighing it against your goal of building clientele and the time it's going to take, do you want to do that, or would you rather do Yelp?
I would rather do the word of mouth.
Okay. So this is
It-
how we
it-
make decisions.
Okay.
We
Yeah.
compare it to the goal. Okay. So that's why I went and that's why I went direct to, if you can cancel Yelp, just like, we'll get to Yelp someday, maybe, but right now it's just costing you money and it's not making you money. And it's not the quickest, easiest, fastest way to get to the result of you making more sales so you can get more time.
Okay.
Okay. So if you can't cancel, then we can reconsider the Yelp strategy. Right. It is $108 a month. If you're just going to eat that for however long the contract is, you probably still would be better off focusing on word of mouth, but I want to give you stuff that is easy and takes into consideration that time is your highest priority. Word of mouth marketing is the most effective marketing. It's free. Yes, maybe there's a discount that's to incentivize them, but when we look at customer lifetime value, anytime you're giving a discount on the initial service, especially when we have recurring maintenance appointments, like, a full set versus fills, if you can get a new client in and on a full set, even at a discount, but they come back for the next 6 months, twice a month for their fills, I'll take that discount all day long.
Yeah.
Sense? So word of mouth, we're going to be intentional about promoting our new client special to our current clients. Or I would just make it easy, 20% off either micro needling or lash extensions. I would say, hold on one second. Hey, Reed, do you want anything from Moe's? Text Alexis. She asked if you wanted her to bring anything back. So if you want something from there, text her. Oh, I don't either.
Wait, where is she from?
Moe's?
I don't.
Okay.
I was just about to ask what do we have.
Okay. Well, I'm on a call, so give me a few more minutes. No, I'm not muted. They can hear you. Say hi.
Hello.
All right. Microneedling might be a bigger stretch for people. It's not as widely known of a service as lash extensions. So what you could do is, for new clients that you're doing word of mouth marketing for, they can get 20% off of lash extensions. For your current clients, you could offer 20% off any microneedling service to increase their customer lifetime value. Because then
Okay.
you have time during your lash extension services to talk about microneedling and, you know, the downtime that's involved in it and like what the results are or anything like that. So you can have two separate promotions going on, but they're just for different audiences, if that makes sense.
Okay, makes
For the
sense.
month of July, current clients can have 20% off microneedling, even higher if you want to do that for them to test it out, right? Because it's a new service. Is it a new service?
No,
No. Okay. So never mind on the new service part of it, but just say for this month, we're doing this because the goal would be for them to do it every, you know, to get into a cycle or package of it and doing it more regularly. So because you don't have to do as much explaining of what the service is like you do to a cold audience who may not be sure what microneedling is, it might be easier to get them in on the lash extensions, new clients in the lash extensions, and then target your current clients with a microneedling offer.
okay,
Okay. And that's it. That's all you're focusing on for July. Screw the
Okay.
rest of this, right? I mean, Lashpreneur Society training, I'll say, get in there. But, you know, really, if this is all you did, I think you'd be way more closer to your goal of quitting the franchise job than adding anything else to your plate. And anything else you're going to add to your plate is going to take away time from your kids. And it's summertime. And so I'm thinking you probably want to spend time with them while they're home. So know that when they go back to school, if they go back to school, I don't know what age range they're in, but you have a little bit more bandwidth and a little more time carved out where you're not robbing time from them because they're already structured with their time somewhere else.
okay,
All right. You have your challenge now. And
okay,
I will post this link in the group after this call
Awesome.
so we access it.
okay.
All right, hold on. New client special. Current clients. And then we'll do 20% off microneedling for current clientele. And then 20% off. So you might have that 20% off lash extensions as what you're promoting and posting on that Facebook page. The new client special for July. So anytime we do discounts, we always want to have an end date to it. We call it scarcity marketing. So that's why we have either, you know, only 5 remaining, or we have ends July 30th, 31st. I don't know how many days are in this month. Anything where we have an end deadline, because it forces people to make a decision. It's called a decision bind. They have to make a decision, even if the decision is no. They have to make a decision because the next day it goes away. So it tends to be very effective in getting people to decide one way or the other.
Yep, I've heard you speak about that.
Yes, we just did a podcast episode. Cool. All right, awesome. Well, thanks for coming on. That was great. Now, how do you feel now compared to when we started?
I think I just lost 20 pounds.
Awesome. Love to hear it. I love it. I love it. And thank you so much for being so coachable. That was amazing to go through.
Thank you.
Yes. All right. Who's my next victim? You guys can go ahead and unmute yourself, whoever wants to come up next.
So I
Hello,
kind of, okay. It's so funny. That's actually my cell phone name, but my name is Shelby.
Hi, Shelby. Hi, Shelby. Lola.
I'm kind of identifying with what Angela was saying because I kind of feel like I'm in a similar spot,
Okay.
except I did have her biggest fear. I feel like I just had a mass exodus of clients because like
Okay.
people just can't afford it anymore. So I think I have to work on getting more clients because at this point I'm kind of like, oh my God, do I need to get another job? Because I'm just doing this. And I feel like if I get another job, then it takes away from me doing the things I need to do to get the clients and all
Right.
that.
It's like if you spent the time on your business that you would at the other job, wouldn't you get back to where you needed to be? And
Mhm.
look, the juicy carrot as an entrepreneur is to go walk away from everything and let somebody else make decisions. It happens still, because it's hard. It's hard having everything dependent on you to make decisions and drive things. And it sounds better and easier to just take a break and have somebody else do that for you. However, I think most of us that have been in entrepreneurship for anything longer than maybe 2 months, we would make terrible employees.
Yeah. Because
You know,
I was
you don't
thinking
know what
about
you're
it.
doing. Have you
can't
your
punch a
P&L
clock.
statement? Right? And we give up time freedom, right? Because we are on somebody else's schedule. And so there is something to be said that. Now, I'm never going to say, don't go do what you got to do, right? Like if
Right.
ultimately you getting another job is going to provide some sort of benefit relief whatever, and you look at it as it's just a season, by all means, go do that. Is that the only option and solution we have? Probably not. So first and foremost, the thing that's coming up for me is, how many clients did you lose exactly?
Probably like 6.
6 out of how many?
So I probably have about 10 consistent lash clients left.
Remaining. Okay. And then did they all happen around the same time, or was it kind of a slow death?
It was like all around the same time.
Okay. Were any of them in relation with each other?
No.
Okay. And what is it you noticed when they stopped coming back that you're labeling it as they couldn't afford it anymore?
Well, so I know I've listened to some of your podcasts and you're like, memberships as a solo person is not a good idea. But I did have a membership and then they all kind of canceled all at once.
Okay. And were they receiving services, or they were just paying?
Like they were just paying for their membership
Right.
and they would come in and get their services.
Okay.
So they
so
were
still
coming
taking
in.
advantage of the membership.
Yes.
Okay. And then how much was the membership?
So originally it was like 120 for 2 fills, and then I raised it to 149. Which, knowing what I know now, it's just not the best idea.
Okay, and explain why, just for those listening, why that may not be the best idea for anybody who's considering memberships.
Well, then you have some people who don't pay on time. And then if you're a solo person, you have relationships with the people, it's a little bit harder than if you had a front desk, chasing people down for their membership fee. It's also, I think like the plus is like you kind of know a little bit how much you have coming in, but the minus is if they all leave at the same time too. I mean, I guess it's all a gamble, but also it's, dollar for hour. That's just not enough.
And then what are these, any fills?
Yeah.
Okay. And then is it a flat standard service time that each of these fills are?
Yeah, it's an hour.
Okay. So they get 2 1-hour fills a month. Do their lashes
Mhm.
last that long and they come back every 2 weeks, and the consistency of that? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So we're looking at what, $75 an hour now?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay. And no matter what, they can get classic, volume, hybrid, anything like that?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Well, I did have it tiered in the beginning, but then it just got,
Overcomplicated.
yeah.
Yep. Yeah, I don't love, what is the word I'm looking for? I don't love it when our higher value, better result services are the same based on time, right? Where
Mhm.
they can get anything, because, when we're adding in more coverage with volume fans, we're getting a better results, and it solves different problems than just classic, which is just extending what they have. So you lose an upsell opportunity to increase customer lifetime value when we're solely basing it on time. Clients
Mhm.
also tend to do, and I had clients who do this too, and it was just ridiculous. Maybe this was just a few of my clients that were just not the right types, but they tend to look at, oh, she's making $75 an hour. Like, she's making good money. Why would she raise?
Mhm.
It's like they kind of do the math. They don't understand the operating expense side of it. Most people in business aren't.
Right.
But sometimes you'll get some of those clients, and so when you do a price increase, they have ways of doing that. So all that to say, so they said they couldn't keep paying for the $120, $149 a month membership.
Yeah.
Okay. So how many clients do you want to be at? And do you want them on a membership, or do you want to switch away from the membership?
I think switching away is probably
Okay.
best.
So as a priority, I would say do that first before you start building a clientele. Otherwise, you're going to build a clientele with the current pricing structure you have, which is only going to keep this going. So first and foremost, the plan is to restructure your pay, your price list, pricing, whatever you want to call that.
Mm-hmm.
Shouldn't be too hard. Do you have in the contract, do they sign a contract when they sign up for the membership?
No.
Cool. So that is also another hardship. If you don't have anything legally binding them to continue payment, then that money is not guaranteed anyways.
Right.
You can't go after them for certain things. There's no structure to it, so they can cancel anytime. Generally speaking, for memberships, there's usually like a contract of a certain period of time, like a minimum of 6 months, and then it goes month to month. Sounds like you're just
Mhm.
kind of the old boys handshake, cool. So you actually have set yourself up very nicely because you can change it now,
Mhm.
right? You're not, oftentimes if it's like a minimum of 6 months, you have to fulfill your end of the contract before you can change anything. You're good to go. So I would switch it, and you can do this as simply or as complex if you want. You can just switch it to basically $75 an hour fills, and that's it. If you want to do that, so that they don't necessarily have to be 2 weeks. You take off the auto pay, all that kind of stuff. You actually remove all of the credit card chasing aspect of your business, which most people don't understand. When you get into memberships, that is a very, very time consuming administrative thing that you do.
Mhm.
We have an entire team member dedicated to failed payments. So it is annoying more than anything. And it's time that you're basically chasing after money when you could be chasing after new clients who come in and you get more fully booked. You're like proactively chasing payments, or reactively. Okay. So you could then start to break it up into different tiers and different timing. If you want to do that, now would be the time to do any of that restructuring of how you want it moving forward. Now that you have some of this experience of the pros and the cons. So you tell me, do you want to keep it simple where you just make it the $75 for an hour appointment and you get rid of the auto pay? Or do you want to start tiering out the different fills to be able to maybe do a price increase for things like hybrid and volume? You tell me.
So I think I did change some of it in acuity. So like now, like an hour fill is like 85. And then I think I did like 95 or 105, depending on for 3 weeks or for like volume and stuff.
Okay, can you walk me through that so it's clear? Because that wasn't clear.
Sorry, let me see.
1 hour
I'll
is
check.
85, but then we have then we have volume, that's a different price, and then we have 3-week fills, which those are different.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm gonna pull it up because I just changed it and I'm
That's fine.
confusing.
Because the more unclear it is for the clients, the less the more they're gonna resist, and the more they're not gonna understand. We want our pricing extremely clear and simple.
So like for classic, I did like a weekly fill of 55,
How long
2
is that
weeks,
service?
like 45 minutes.
Okay. Okay, and then go ahead.
Like an hour is 85.
Wait, we went from 1 week to an hour. What's the so is 1 hour 2 weeks? What is, we have to say?
Yeah. Oh yeah, 2 weeks.
2 weeks
Hour.
is 65, you said?
85.
85. That's a big jump.
And then 3 weeks is 95.
And how long is that service?
An hour and 30 minutes.
So just this alone, and most people don't really do this math. Hold on one second.
Mhm.
Okay, we want to look at sales per minute. Okay, so we have 55-minute service, or $55 service divided by 45 minutes. We're doing $1.22 in sales a minute. Okay, I'm going to keep doing the math here and you're going to see something interesting. 2 weeks at 60 minutes. So 85 divided by 60. $1.22 a minute. And 3 weeks is 95. Okay. So now we've gotten it all in the same playing field of per minute. So sales per minute is what we've just determined. So why would you ever do a 1 week or a 3-week service? For the same amount of time, you're making 20 to 40 cents less a minute. Okay, so we want these, while they can have some differences, this is still classic. If it had this kind of difference in it, because it was classic versus hybrid versus volume, it makes sense because it's a different result, so we can charge more. But when we look at it from this lens, it would actually be really, you would make way less money for the same amount of work if you kept doing 3-week fills.
Mm-hmm.
Does that make sense?
Yes.
Even when we're looking at, I just want to, I want to work less and make more, or work the same and make more, or I want to be more profitable. We just do the thing that earns more sales for the same amount of time.
Mm-hmm.
So with that being said, I don't know if you've already announced this or released this, but we've got to have some structure or consistency. So you're not having such a disparity between the time per minute.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, I'm obviously going to want to go with this one because it's the highest. However,
Right.
there's different ways we can go about this. So you tell me, how many people come in once a week, every week?
I have like 3 people.
Okay. So I kind of think that you could turn this into a 1 to 2 weeks service and
Mhm.
eliminate this altogether.
Okay.
Okay. Same thing here. I think you could probably do a 3 to 4 week if you wanted. I don't know if people go 4 weeks. I had a 2 to 3 week and a 4 to 5 week because I could get clients to go that long. But even just a 3 to 5 week, and watch what happens here. We don't even have to change the price point. Let's see what happens when we just knock it down by 15 minutes. Okay, so we don't have to tell the clients anything other than their appointment is 15 minutes shorter. So now we're doing 95 divided by 75. Well, now we've bumped this up some. Okay, so we've shortened the amount of time, and so we've increased the amount of sales per minute. So we don't necessarily have to do the price increase, and we've kind of simplified everything. Now, I would like to see that 3 to 4 week come up a little bit, but that may be something that you do in the later on.
Mm-hmm.
Now, do you see any issues or obstacles with this kind of new pricing structure?
No.
Cool. So I think that probably would be simplest for you to maximize the amount of sales for the time spent doing it and get you off the membership. Once you've got that kind of announced, so here's the thing, with current clients, we generally want to give them about a month's notice when we're doing any changes to pay. But online, everything can change now for new clients that they never knew that there was an old way of doing things. So you can actually implement this with new clients now.
Mhm.
Make sure you go through your classics and your hybrids. You may adjust timing or anything like that, but just always figure out that price per minute to make sure you're not underselling your stuff.
Okay.
That being said, then the next thing to do would be to build the clientele and to get more clients in. So I would think, so how many clients did you say you wanted?
I think like 20 would be good.
For you to be fully booked or for you this month?
To be fully booked.
Okay, so 20 new clients to be fully booked. And then you've got 10 right now. So 20 new clients. So 30 total would be fully booked. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So when we're doing some database decision making, you guys probably heard me harping on that a lot. If we have 20 new clients that we need to come back for fills, because that's how we determine being fully booked is the fills, we could go searching for, well, how many new clients do we tend to have come in and how many come back for their first fill? Because right now we're solving for how many new clients do we need to equal 20 new or 20 new fill clients, right? Because there's usually a conversion percentage. So if I have 100 new clients come in and only 80 come back for fills, that's an 80% conversion. Now that's bigger numbers, but that would mean that I could then apply 80%. So if I need 10 new clients, I know 8 are going to come back for their first fill. So I would be curious to you, and usually this is a manual process because a lot of booking softwares aren't that good, but go look back on the last, say, you could even go back to the beginning of the year, look at how many new clients have I seen this year, and then how many came back for at least one fill. We can get more detail than we do in the mastermind of like second fill, third fill, fourth fill. You guys don't need that layer of that amount of data quite yet. We're just looking at trying to solve for how many new clients do we need to generate? Because if you have a really good conversion of like new full sets come back for their first fill pretty consistently, well, then maybe we only need to get 25 new clients in, knowing that 20 of them will stay. But it helps get you a little bit more accurate data, because you could aim to get 20 new clients, but not all of them are going to stay, and you're still not fully booked, and you're gonna be like, Tara, didn't work.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So we're just going to keep the math simple right now, and we're going to aim to get, let's see, let's split it up. Let's do 10 new clients this month, and 10 new clients in August. How does that sound?
Sounds good.
Okay. Have you ever gotten 10 new clients in a month before? We're close to it.
I think so. Because of course I've gone down also the Groupon and the ClassPass rabbit hole. So I've done all of the things.
All the more reason to then do this, right? Because look, I'm all for,
Mhm.
so there are strategies to use these discount services to retain clients and keep them coming back. You're paying a higher marketing cost for Groupon to take a percentage, but we have at least one of our mastermind members does Groupon very well because she's constantly upselling and her team is upselling so that the Groupon is just one lead source. It's not their only marketing, but she does have an effective strategy. But again, you can look at, I may have gotten 8 Groupon clients, but none of them came back. Well, then
Mhm.
that's a really poor, I would rather you get 4 clients off of Instagram and 3 of them came back than continue to use Groupon. So that you might have a caveat in here. When I discounted, did that affect the conversion rate?
Oh, totally.
Right? So it may not be effective. While it sounds good, like, oh, I had 10 new clients from Groupon. If none of them came back, well, then we're just constantly acquiring new clients rather than getting fully booked. Okay. What else? What else have you done that's kind of been consistent in generating clients, even if it's just 2 to 3 a month?
So mostly I've used those services, and then last month I've been doing the training and I tried the Google ads.
Mhm.
And that did seem to be working, but I think one
How
of
so?
those things, I got a couple clients,
Okay.
but a lot of the clients I'm getting are more for like lash lifts are very popular over here.
Okay. And that's not a service you want, or
I mean, I do. I mean, they're easy to do. It's just, you need so many more of them because they only come back every 6 weeks.
right. So lash lifts, and what's the pricing on that and the time on that?
It's 45 minutes and I charge 100.
Sure, they don't come back as frequently, but you're making almost double, or you're making a whole dollar more
Mhm.
a minute. So if I'm looking at how do I generate more sales, I'm doing this,
Mhm.
right? Because you don't have to take as many clients to get the same revenue amount as you do for lash clients. So even
Yes.
you being fully booked with lash clients may be the 20 new clients to be fully booked, but you may be able to get away with just 15 lash lift clients and still be making the
Mhm.
same money. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay. So I might look at that as prioritizing lash lifts, especially if you have evidence that there's demand for it and it's popular. Yeah, it's a 6-week cycle. Cool. You know that, right? Add in the
Mhm.
aftercare. So that's increasing sales, right? Because that's a big component to lash lifts is there's great retail involved with it for them to maintain the result and get them scheduled out for their next appointment. You can also look at maybe, I don't know if you offer other services, but like a brow wax when they come in too, right? So that, yes, they're not coming in as much, but they're still spending as much as if they were coming back frequently
Mhm.
on that cycle. Okay. And then just to kind of full circle this, it doesn't surprise me that it sounds like the majority, did these 6 clients come from Groupon?
Yeah.
Yeah. So we're building a price sensitive clientele. So it would make sense that when we get them in on Groupon, we have them on memberships for actually a really high price membership. When we break it down to per service, it's not all that high. It's probably pretty comparable, but they're just looking at, oh my God, it's $150 a month rather than it's $75 an appointment. It's the same.
Mhm.
Their pricing psychology is looking at the total as opposed to it's just 75 a month. So that would make sense. Why you had a mass kind of walk out, kind of a not walk out, but just a bunch leaving at
Mhm.
the same time. Okay. So Google Ads, lash lifts. And then how's your website?
I took the training and then I did fix it, and then
Beautiful.
I did transfer from Gloss Genius over to Acuity.
Cool. Okay, cool. So we've got the website and then we want to move up the funnel to the relationship building. Do you have Google My Business or any sort of Google reviews that you use?
Yes.
Okay, so Google reviews work really well with Google Ads. So if you found that Google Ads tends to work well, I might look at how can I incentivize more client reviews on Google so that when I do run Google Ads, I already have more social proof in there. They keep moving down that funnel. Those pair
Mhm.
really nicely. So I would focus this month, and the way that we generally teach to this is have a QR code at checkout. And if they leave you a review on Google right there at checkout, you'll give them $5 off. Right?
Okay.
You only have to do it one time because once they've left the review, we've gotten the juiciness out of it. But that will build your Google reviews. So it'll help you both in the organic search and it'll give you more social proof for your ads to go further.
Okay.
And if you want to specifically maybe well, yeah, just leave it at that. It's a real quick, easy way for you to just throw $5 at it. You don't have to necessarily offer a discount, but it's pretty juicy at checkout for them to go take the action now rather than you text them 2 days later, can you leave a review? It's like, no, in the moment, incentivize the review. Okay. So I think Google, oops. So use a QR code and offer $5. Okay. So that will be building so you've already got your desire at the bottom of the funnel. You're going to be building your reviews. Anything else that you think might, or that you're already doing, or that you think would work well to get more clients?
I mean, I'm attempting to use Instagram, but I don't feel like I've ever gotten a ton of clients from Instagram.
People always get surprised when I'm like, well, then don't use Instagram. At least not
I
now.
know.
Right? If it's working for you, do it better, do it more. Yes, yes, yes. But most people, the way that they utilize Instagram is not the greatest.
Mhm.
But you seem to have something that's already in work. I would get this funnel, Google Ads,
Mhm.
Google reviews, your website. I would get that working to some consistency. And then if you want to, and you want to get more marketing out there, then we can look at something like Instagram and get some sort of strategy, especially with ChatGPT makes it real easy. But I would focus in on just getting this and then your word of mouth marketing, just like we talked
Mhm.
about with Angela. Ask your current clients, give them a business card. You can say your friends can get $20 off or whatever, or they can get $10 off a lash lift or whatever. You can be very specific with what you write on there and just make sure that the client brings the card in so you remember what deal or discount. But that's those two things. If you focus on those, I think no problem. You'll get the 10 new clients each month, and then the fall you're fully booked. Then you can do a price increase in October right before the holidays. So
Okay. Thanks.
make it sound so easy. Awesome. Awesome. Any other questions? Shelby / Lola.
No, that's it. Thank you.
Awesome. Awesome.